It's processing day, and you've waited patiently for the figure that has been announced however long, and now the day has come for you to finalize payment. Wait for the shipping notification and do it all over again. You're sitting back, you're enjoying your morning cup of coffee, when all of a sudden you receive an email.
You've got mail, motherfucker!
Language.
Easy cap. If they have an account with Mezco paying premium prices, then they got their big boy pants on. And that means they can hear big boy words.
That's not going away anytime soon.
Okay, fine. You have mail. Better? So you open up the email, and instead of the payment confirmation, you see that your payment has failed. Listen, I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to help. So in this video, I'm going to explain what it is and why you're getting those payment processing errors, what you can do to fix the problem now. I can also give you some steps that you can take to fix the problem in the future. And then at the end, I'll throw in a little bonus segment and we'll talk about some things that will help you stay financially afloat as a Mezco 112 collector. So sit down, log into your account, and let's make some magic happen. So of course, you always got to start things off with your little disclaimer. So here's mine. So the first thing is, I'm not here to put blame on any specific person or any kind of purchasing process, because we're all going through this. And you're going to see that there's a combination of factors that can cause whether or not your payment processes successfully. The purpose of this video is to give you the ways to reduce the possibility of those things happening. Now that we got the disclaimer out of the way, let's go. So like all things, you just bear with me. You have to understand what the problem is before you understand how to solve the problem. So now initially, when you create your account, you're going to input all this payment information. And we do this online with all of our accounts, of course, obviously, to make transactions go a little bit more smoothly. They're not. That's why you're here. Now, one of the most common reasons that you might be encountering this error is because of the duration between when you enter the credit card information and the time that the offering is processed. Mezco pre-orders can sometimes take between 12 and 18 months. And at that time, when you enter the credit card number, you are entering and storing the information at that point in time.
Now, you're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
I contacted 3 of my banks, and 2 of them told me the exact same thing. Security codes are applied to those cards and transactions. So some of those cards or transaction codes have a specific amount of time that the code or the transaction can be used. So let's say, for example, you pre-order a figure that was 2 years ago. That assigned code would obviously no longer be valid, which is one of the reasons why you get those processing error emails. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. This is the reason why I make a charge reminder post in the groups and on my social media platforms, because we all know life happens. We forget about stuff. But it's also to give people a heads up, not only to make sure that your card information is updated, but also to keep an eye out the day of, because they're going to send out emails and you might receive one of those emails notifying you of a processing error. But Paige, whatever do you mean about a payment processing email error? These are the notifications that you're going to be receiving from Mezco that says that there was a problem charging your account and that you need to update the information in order to finalize your transaction. Typically, Mezco will process payments on the date that's specified, but let's just say January 9th is an example. The last few pre-orders Mezco processed very early in the morning, and that plays a big part in all of this. So bear with me, because we're kind of going to jump around like a Tarantino flick, but trust me, you'll understand at the end. So let's say, for example, you were charged and the order did not go through. Mezco is going to send you an email and it will say you had a payment failure. Now, this part is very important. They will attempt to charge you 3 times. So again, example, January 9th, 8 o'clock in the morning, you were charged the first time. You're going to receive that email and they might charge you a second time a few hours later or possibly that day. Technically, that would be your second time. And normally the third time would be the next business day. They also have a once each business day format, but it's better to err on the side of caution. I also think that this is one of the reasons why you see a lot of people get cancellation notices on the second day. Again, we all have lives outside of collecting, and maybe you just didn't get the chance to check the email until 12 o'clock the next day in the afternoon. You've already potentially missed your 3 opportunities to correct a problem. And this is where some collectors may get frustrated because they lose out on the opportunity for their order. Again, this is the reason why it's best to prepare and try to fix this stuff before you get charged, as well as to keep an eye on it while it's actually happening. So we know what the error is. What are the steps that we can take to fix it? Now, this is going to be the easiest way and is also, in my opinion, the best long-term fix. What you're going to do is you're going to open up the email that was sent to you and click on the hyperlink that says click here. Very easy, right? I highly recommend that you keep this email because even though this is a long-term fix, you'll be able to use this as a shortcut to go back anytime that you want and update all the information in one foul swoop. Try to burn through some of this fast. This is going to take you to the Mezco login screen. You're going to type in your name, your password, and then you're going to log into your account. Now, this is very important. Clicking this link will take you directly to the place that you need to go. I know that there's another way that you can possibly do it, logging into your account, going to your account settings, order status, blah, 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 blah. But we all know humans like to do everything in less than 3 clicks. And I'm telling you, this will be the best way that you can do it. Now, as the screen pulls up, you'll see that there's a list of your pending purchases. And this is also the easiest to locate the order that you're looking for. Again, you can log into your account, do all that other stuff. But I think it's easier just to use this method because everything is all laid out and there's a nice little graphic on the side to help you find it even quicker. Now, if you don't have the email, then I guess you're good. But there is a way for you to be able to access the change option through the web page. You just have to go through a couple of secret doors. Now, most people will delete or modify their payment method through the payment method screens. Remember, this does not change all of your orders. So what you need to do is go down to the bottom of the page and you're going to click order status under your account. Once you're there, click any pending pre-order number that you have. After that, you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page where the manage order section is. There, you're going to see 2 links that will allow you to change the payment or shipping for one or all of your orders. So for the issue that we're trying to resolve, you're going to click on the update payment and billing information link. And that's going to take you to the change orders page that all the rest of the updated payment information and the rest of us boys and girls are on right now. Now, these changes will appear to the order that was selected. But like I said, as long as you make the changes before the order is processed or shipped, you're pretty much ensuring everything is up to date by the time that you push the save button. Now, the short-term fix for this would be just to click the box of the order that you're trying to edit. Usually, if you click the hyperlink, it's going to take you directly to the order. After you're done, you're going to scroll down to the bottom of the page and you're going to click update. This is where you'll be able to update all the information such as your name, your address, credit card number, security code, and your expiration dates. Expiration dates are very important. Now, these changes will appear to the order that was selected. But like I said, as long as you make the changes before the order is processed or shipped, you're pretty much ensuring everything is up to date by the time that you push the save button. Not only will it make the changes to the additional orders that you check, but it will also apply changes to the order that you direct link to, which was, of course, the one that you used in your email. Personally, for me, I would just rather knock all of it out in one shot. So what I recommend that you do is go to the very top and click the box that says update all and just do the same thing. Of course, if you're going to be shipping to multiple different addresses or transferring order, I highly recommend that you edit those orders individually. But it's the same process. Click all, go to the update page, update all the information that you need, click save, and that will apply to all of the orders that were checked. Now, for both the short and long-term fixes, what I usually recommend is after you made the changes, you just send a quick email to Mezco customer service saying that you received a processing error, and then that you still want the item and you've updated the cart and everything is good to go. The best advice I can give you is to make sure that your information is updated. Yes, I know that there are ways to update the information the traditional way, but remember, you're only updating the information from that point on. When you do that, there's still the expiration date that's on the coded information. Now, I have been doing some playing around and some purchasing experiments myself, and I have found that usually the traditional update change my card information option that most people do, that only usually lasts between 60 and 90 days. Even when you go to the update payment methods page and you delete it and re-enter the card information, you are only doing it from that point forward. Even when you select the default payment, I have done this a few times and just to kind of test it to see what would happen. And like I said, anything outside the 60 to 90 day range has always come up with a payment failure notification. So a real world example, I was reissued a card back in October for an expiration date, and I used the update all option that I just showed you. And from that point on until January, I haven't had any processing errors or emails with any of the pre-orders that I've had in the past since then. And now, as you know, December was a pretty heavy month for pre-orders and charging. So I think that this is probably the best method that you can use to avoid most of the things that you're going to run into. But this is also something that needs to be taken into consideration as well, because once you are reissued a new card, there's a new security code as well as a transaction code that's applied to that card as well. So anytime that you have something like that happen, be it a lost or stolen card, or they give you a new card with any kind of new numbers, you need to go back and make sure you update all your orders. Because remember, those security codes and transaction codes will no longer be valid with your bank. Quick little bonus tip, before a pre-order goes up, I highly recommend that you go into your account, you log in, and under your payment method, you're going to notice that's where your card is. And if you see 3 X's, a dash, and it's blank instead of the 4 credit card numbers, the last 4 digits, this is a strong indicator that the card that you have on file will most likely not process. Now, I can guarantee you somebody's going to see this video and they're going to try to shoot holes in it and say that they've either tried or they have tried these fixes and they just didn't work. And like I said, there's just a bunch of variables. Yeah, there's going to be hiccups by the bank or by Mezco. And I think that's the reason why they do these 3 charges. I know a store that only charged me once for the transaction and it didn't go through, and they canceled my whole order. And I waited, I think it was like 1.5 years for it. Things just happen. And because things happen, that's the reason why I recommend you just kind of stay on top of these things until it's been finalized, until you get that email that says your order has been processed. Just hang tight and it's going to be on its way. Because I know there's a lot of collectors that are going out there and they're going to say, it shouldn't be my responsibility. I shouldn't have to be worried about that stuff. But when you're in the collecting world, and in order to get the things that you want, sometimes you got to do a little bit more. And I'll be honest with you, I would much rather pay a little bit more attention and effort than have to pay extra and aftermarket for a figure that I missed for whatever reason. Again, I can only provide you the tools that you'll need to succeed. Whatever foundation that you build with it is up to you.
And knowing is half the battle.
Now, something I mentioned before that also is a variable that I don't think a lot of people want to talk about is insufficient funds.
But the way my bank account is set up, the thing is, I got a checking in the savings, but all the money is in my savings.
And I can see this a lot in the community. There are people that will be processing and they'll say that they have trouble and they don't have the funds to cover the purchase. And that's okay. But making a post about your transaction and how it was declined because you didn't have the money to cover it, I think is a completely different story. It's very misleading. And again, I see this a lot because people will say they either figured it out later on after payday, or they'll make a pre or post comment about how the fact they didn't have the money to purchase it anyway. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I know we all have different financial responsibility, but I think it's important to kind of break out of that pressure of competition or this keeping up with the Joneses. And it's something that I want to throw into this because I think that there are ways that you can prepare yourself so you don't run into those situations later on. Something Mezco is known for, as well as catching a lot of flack for, is the fact that the release dates change pretty often. One of the things I think that is not talked about is the fact that even though the offering is delayed, and of course it's disappointing, this is something that a lot of people don't actually use to their own advantage. If the release date is projected 6 to 8 months out, saving $5 a week or $10 a month, even if the figure gets delayed, another 5 months allows you to pretty much pay for that offering. But hey, let me offer an olive branch. Another suggestion would be the PayPal Inform method. Now, this is a program offered by PayPal where you pay in installment loans that let you split the purchase up into like 4 repayments. I think the first is due on the day of the transaction, and the other 3 repayments are done every 2 weeks thereafter. I think it covers about $1,300 to $1,500, and oh my God, this sounds like it's sponsored, but it's not. I promise you it's not. This is the point is that there's 2 options that you can use to be able to ease the financial crunch that comes along with collecting this line. Being able to pay for the item or either have the funds set aside will be one less thing that you need to worry about that's on your table. And it's something you should take into consideration because this week is going to be a pretty busy transaction week. If you're in the future, please disregard. We're talking about stuff that's happening now. But on January 9th, Eddie is supposed to be charging. After that, 112 Day is going to be coming up. And traditionally, that's an event. It's like a photo contest event, but they also usually do a pre-order during that event. Bishop is also set to charge within the next coming weeks. There's also a few projections that are supposed to be for this quarter. It's January to March, so they might try to squeeze those in. And then Toys Fair should be right around the corner. And that's the purpose of this video, to reduce some of those problems that people run into. Not all, because like I said, there are those little variables. But in the end, always contact customer service, because they can tell you definitively what's wrong with your order and what you need to do to fix your problem specifically. Or was that specifically? You know what I mean. I hope this information was helpful. I know it's a little bit long-winded, but like I said, I tried to give you the most information you can to be able to best handle the problem or deal with the situation. So I appreciate your time. And remember, they're just toys. So have fun. So a little bit of a side note, I'm trying to record, and the reason why this video is taking so long is because there's too much background noise. That's Oscar sleeping.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!